Welcome to a very special episode of the Ron and John Show, where we are honoring Hire a Veteran Day.
Boom. It's great to be here today, and we're going to hear some testimonials from some veterans that are our teammates on Veterans Lending Group now.
And actually, we've been talking about transition as well as working here at VLG, so stay tuned with that. And the other thing with this topic of hiring a veteran, John, the thing comes up of consistently is, why should companies hire veterans?
Absolutely. Hey, let me tell you something. To any company out there, you want to hire a veteran. Here at Veterans Lending Group, we make it a point to hire veterans, and we hire military spouses. And why hire a veteran? Because you're going to get somebody that has a sense of purpose, somebody that's motivated, and somebody that can take direction, and they can run with any mission and complete that task in an excellent fashion.
Absolutely. And John, what do you think companies should be looking for in hiring these veterans? Like, what are some talents and innate abilities that they normally wouldn't understand or even know?
Yeah, and companies shouldn't focus so much on the tangible kind of things. It's the intangibles, the interpersonal skills, the ability and the intellect on how they communicate, and then in the end, the focus and drive that every veteran has.
And you know what? We're going to see that because we have a couple very special guests that we have interviewed, and we're going to see what their experiences are in transition and working here at VLG.
Hey, and to all you veterans out there, you want to make it successful on the outside, you've got to take your professional military reputation that you have, and you got to be able to transition that into a personable, marketable brand that will get you the job that finds the same purpose that you had in the military. And Veterans Lending Group is one of the best organizations I've ever seen to do this.
Boom.
Boom.
Mitch, welcome, brother, to this very special event today where we're talking about veterans and hiring veterans. And I know we've worked together for the last couple of years, and it's just been phenomenal just seeing you work, and seeing you thrive, really, in a lot of different areas, man. And we just want to dig in and see a little bit about you and learn who you are. So welcome, Mitch.
Thanks, Ron. Appreciate it.
Hey, welcome, brother. How you doing, Mitch?
Good job. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. Tell us a little bit about your transition, okay?
Sure.
From your military life to where you're at now with Veterans Lending Group, and how good it's been for you.
Absolutely. It was kind of an interesting ride. Right after I got out of the Navy, I went back to school to finish my degree that I started kind of at the whole, beginning of this whole deal. Got my degree, went and joined the workforce. It's kind of a rocky start. I didn't really know where to fit in or what. I had a big skill set, lots of problem solving abilities and all that stuff, and I just wasn't fitting in. And Veterans Lending Group was right around the corner from my house, and I said, there's veterans on the sign. I'm going to go make them put their money where their mouth is. I'm going to see if they've got a job for a veteran. And I walked in the door, and it was like I walked into a family that I didn't know I had. I feel like they found my skill set useful. They're utilizing me in the best way possible, and I did not think that was possible, really, coming out of the military and joining the civilian workforce, because it's just so different. It's just so different not having that rigid structure with your list of duties and responsibilities, and this is what you have to do. It was a little scary, but I found a home here at Veterans Lending Group, and man, I couldn't be more grateful.
Yeah. Awesome. So, digging in that a little bit more, from that transition from the Navy into the civilian world, what was different with those other jobs that you had versus VLG?
I would say first and foremost, my experience is respected here. We don't write mortgages in the Navy, but I have a valuable skill set, and it was immediately recognized by our leadership here, and it just, I didn't find that at my other places of employment. It was like I was a guy coming in, and they were, I felt like a quota number. And here I've never felt like a number. I feel like an actual contributing member of the team. I'm asked my opinion. I give my input, and it's valued, and that means a lot to me. As someone who, I'm very proud of my service. I'm very proud that I volunteered. It's in my family, and to have that be recognized. But also held accountable.
Yeah.
I'm not put up on a pedestal like I'm a different person. I feel like I'm held to the standard that I hold myself, and those expectations are here for me. And I mean, it's just it really warms my heart to have a job here.
Hey, so serving in the Navy and serving on a ship, 7-9 month deployments at a time, you had to learn a lot of interpersonal skills and everything. So how have those experiences, being around people from all over the United States, from all walks of life, how has that transition to your job here at Veterans Lending Group?
I mean, I think it's just so valuable that, you guys know, in the military, we're touching all 50 states.
Yeah.
Every culture around and every one of us is different. We all have to work together. And that's such a valuable skill that I sometimes find the civilian counterparts, they don't, those little cultural differences that can lead to misunderstandings.
Yes, right.
Yeah.
I find myself navigating through them a little bit easier because I've had those various interactions. So I guess it's easy for me to notice when someone's getting frustrated or maybe why it's frustrating, and it kind of helps me dive into the issue so that we can communicate better. And I just feel so much more capable and competent in the workplace because of those interpersonal skills like that.
Awesome. So in closing, Mitch, if you had some words for anyone out there that's looking at that's a veteran or a transitioning service member, maybe even a military spouse, right? What words would you say about VLG in words of encouragement, or what would they anticipate or expect?
I'm really lucky. I'm the regional training supervisor here, so everyone who comes through the door gets to meet and greet me, and I tell them all the exact same thing. I say, if you're hired here at Veterans Lending Group, it's because you've got something special. We recognize that you're a member of this family, even though you might not recognize that. And we're very good at uncovering those great qualities about our people that we hire. It brings so much to the table. So anyone transitioning out, if they're joining Veterans Lending Group, I mean, you're coming home, and I can guarantee that this is good. This is a good place, and we do good things here.
Awesome.
Thanks for
so
being
much,
here,
Mitch.
brother.
We appreciate you.
Awesome.
All right. Steve Kenny.
Ron, how we doing?
Doing great, brother. Well, welcome to the special episode of the Ron and John Show, where we're focusing on veterans that are hired here at VLG and sharing their story. And I did bring a snack for you. If anyone can guess this branch.
All the good flavors. All the good flavors. Yeah.
But anyway, brother, welcome to the show, man.
Cheers.
Steve, welcome, brother.
Thank you, John.
How you doing?
Doing great.
Hey, so tell us, obviously with the crayons that Ron put in front of you there, you served in the Marine Corps. Tell us about your transition from serving on active duty in the Marine Corps and now being a valued member of the Veterans Lending Group team. How has that whole transition thing been?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. So joined in 2003, got out in 2008. During that time frame, 3 deployments to Iraq with 3rd Battalion, 1st Marines, and it was just, it was intense. It was rapid. It was high tempo. If you weren't training, you were deployed.
Yeah.
When you came back from deployment, you were right back into workup mode. Transitioning out, I didn't really know what I wanted to do. I just knew that it felt right to get out at the time, kind of pause, take a step back. So I went sort of right into school.
Yeah.
That was my main goal of joining the military, was pay my own way for college. So I did the college thing, took the long road, so to speak, stretch that GI belt as much as I could, and then got my degree and was just kind of looking for my spot, trying to find where I fit in the civilian workforce. So I did a lot of different things.
Yeah.
Started working as I was working as a personal trainer, assistant strength coach. Transitioned from that into EMT in Seattle, and then went from that to did a little bit of time as a med tech within the DoD scope. And then funny enough, I bought a house. Unfortunately not through Veterans Land, but I bought a house out on the peninsula, and but was still working over in Seattle. So I just had a hellacious commute. But I saw an opportunity for a veterans networking event over on the peninsula, and I was like, I want to get to know vets in my new community. I want to build my new community, and I want to surround myself with good people that I can put some faith and some trust in to help me out if I'm in a pinch, kind of thing. So I went to that event, and lo and behold, the first person I met was Ron, and I was like, "This guy's awesome."
Yeah,
it wasn't in a latrine like we met.
It was a brewery, a brewery. But so I met him at that event. I met Brooke and Mike at that event. Didn't know who they were, kind of thing. It was really cool. They had, like a pinball competition going on.
Tournament there,
So Brooke kicked my butt, and then was gracious enough to buy me back into the tournament and kick my butt again. So that was fun. But that's, I met them there, and just, the feeling I got when I was around them. I think I was the last person to leave.
I remember that.
I think we walked out the door together, kind of thing. And during that process, of shutting it down and leaving, kind of thing, that's when Mike kind of turned to me and he just let me know who he was and like who he was with, with Veterans Land Group, handed me his card. I had just started a new position, but he was like, if things ever change, here's my card. Like, call me. Like, just love to talk to you about an opportunity about joining the team, kind of thing. Yeah. So I kicked the tires on that. It took me like 10 months. I had to rummage through the car to find his card. But I called him up, about 10 months later and said, is this still like a real opportunity, kind of thing? And he's like, well, hell yeah. Like, can you interview tomorrow? And I was like, well, yeah. And then, from there, it was kind of like case closed.
Awesome.
That comfort, that feeling. I was like, I don't know what you do or like what you're involved in, but like your energy, like the way you talk, like I want to work with you. I want, like, I don't know, it's like that magnetism. Like I just wanted to be a part of whatever it was he was doing. Mm-hmm. And then it turned out, to be Veterans Home Loans, and veterans benefits and veteran services, and like working with other vets and active duty is near and dear to my heart. It's what it's what energizes me. It's what gets me going, kind of thing. So it was just like a win-win.
Awesome.
Tell me a little bit about that what made you really hunt for that card? Like, what was that tipping point of where you were like, what, all this other stuff, these other jobs that I've been working, I need to find that card. What was that?
Yeah, I think it was just, it was like that, I felt that instant bond with him, even though I know now he wasn't in the military, like his tattoos and like his sleeve, like his demeanor, like his swagger, like the way he carries himself. He's got that confidence, like he's been some places and he's done some things, right?
Which he has.
Right? And so I think it was that, it was just that, it was like that energy, like I felt like a strong pull in his direction. It was like that gravity kind of thing. And that's what I was like, like I said, like, I don't know what this guy's in, like what he does specifically, but whatever it is, like it's working for him. And I feel like he makes me feel like it would work for me too.
Right.
So let me ask you this, Steve. You were in the Marine Corps on high-performing teams in combat. You were in Fallujah, 2004, the most dangerous city on the planet at that time. You also served at Heat and Haditha Dam. So being on those high-performing teams in the Marine Corps, how does that correlate to being on a high-performing team at Veterans Lending Group? As we were just talking about, if you're on Veterans Lending Group, you're a high performer, and you're on a high-performing team.
Right.
If you're not wearing the Veterans Lending Group colors, then you don't fit the bill to be on the team here
Right.
because you're not that high performer. How does that kind of correlate, from being in the Marine Corps on a high-performing team to being on this?
Absolutely, yeah. I think for me, what it really boils down to is like it's a humbling experience to be around to have a high-performing team and high-performing leaders, right? To have that senior leadership, and they're setting the tone, like they're setting the expectation, and so every day you're coming in, every day is training day, right?
Yeah.
Like you have to come in humbled in that, like, you're going to learn something new today, but then not only are you going to learn it, you're going to have to apply it.
Yeah.
And I think that was the biggest thing that I learned through that op tempo of always deploying and always being in, sort of being on the front, being the tip of the spear, the front line kind of thing.
Sure.
Is that, like, you got to have humility. You got to be able to recognize in yourself that I don't know everything, I don't know all the answers, but I'm going to work like a dog every day to figure it out. To solve that problem. Whatever new problem comes up, I'm gonna apply myself fully. I'm gonna figure it out. I'm gonna solve it. I'm gonna adapt, and I'm gonna overcome.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So, just in closing for us, Steve, what message would you want to, from in your own words, to anybody that's watching this, that's a veteran, that's a transitioning service member, or a military spouse that might be looking at VLG as a potential home? What do you got to say to them?
Oh wow, yeah. Just intuition plays a big part, right? Like fate. I would just say, like, really search yourself, like search the soul almost, like look for that good feeling, right? Like chase the good kind of thing.
Yes, absolutely.
Like if you feel it's good, like, and it looks good, kind of like, then do your research to make sure that it is good. But like, trust your gut, like trust your intuition. Because I think at the end of the day, that's what it was for me. It was just like I feel good about this. When I talk to him, I feel better about this. Like I still keep feeling that good feeling.
Yeah.
And I think that would be my best advice for anybody who's looking at VLG as a potential landing spot. Because that good feeling hasn't gone away.
Awesome.
I just feel it every day, and even more every day when I get to interact with people like yourself, John, with Ron, with Mitch, with the rest of the guys on the team, everybody, with my VLG team up there in Silverdale. Getting to interact with them every day, it just energizes you, pumps you up, and that good feeling just continues.
Man. Thank you, brother. Proud to be teammates with you. Thanks a lot.
Thanks, Steve.
Yeah.
Hey, Tony.
Hey.
How's it going, brother?
Good, man. Glad to be here.
Awesome, man. Awesome. And we're happy that you're here as well to talk a little bit about, your experiences on and off the battlefield, and obviously here at VLG, man. So appreciate you coming.
Absolutely.
Hey, Tony. Thanks for being here, brother. Hey, so you are one of our Washington Guardsmen. You served in the Washington Guard. You served in combat when it was most dangerous, around the 2005-06 time frame. Talk to us about your transition from being a guardsman, serving in combat, and where you're at now in Veterans Lending Group as a valued member of this team.
Well, my transition, mine was rough. It took me 5 years at least from coming home to transition, and I left on medevac.
Yeah.
So I actually shot myself when I was over there and came home, and so that whole piece was literally, I sum it up as I was going to drink my wife away.
Yeah.
And that's what I did, 5 years, And so transitioning in, I got into, after 5 years of kind of doing the thing almost many veterans are doing with homelessness and everything else, I got into the domiciliary at the American Lake VA, and that's where my whole transition really began. So in 2012 is actually when I got right-minded enough to actually transition. It's when I met Rod Whitmire with National Alliance. Right after that I met Ron. I met Bryant in the domiciliary, and he kind of encouraged me and pushed me to go out and work with these guys and really adjust my life, change my behaviors and get my mind right. So.
Yeah. And so how did you land with Veterans Lending Group?
So Veterans Lending Group, so funny story, coming from homelessness, you don't think you're ever going to be a homeowner, and I met Ron, and I was like, bro, like, this other organization, they just kicked me over to this like lighthouse program thing, and it was just like, it was brutal, it was like, they asked me if I was suicidal when they were like going through my finances and stuff, and when I met Ron, he's like, no, man, he took a look at it, he's like, we could do this, and put me on this like quick credit repair plan, took like 6 months. And I remember I was driving down the road with my wife, and Ron calls me, I answer, and he says, you're pre-approved, man. The water works, man.
Yeah.
I think Ron's made me cry a couple times.
All good. Yeah.
So I bought my home through Veterans Lending Group, and of course, they're always posting stuff about refining and stuff like that. And I think the turning point was I was always considering coming off of Social Security and like, man, my mind's a little better. Let's see if I can tackle going back to work, And Mike had posted something about refinancing, and when I called Mike, he said he was like, man, it's not a good idea. For you, it's just not a good time. And that I just appreciated that honesty. It was like literally, what's your plan? And this is why it's not good for you. And I loved it. And then a couple weeks later, he posted a video about hiring, and I gave Ron a call, I gave Mike a call. I was like, man, I'm interested. Came in, did the interview, crushed it. I was just like, my network of veterans is powerful because I've been advocating for veterans since 2012. It's basically where I found my advocation power. And then the rest is history. I got on, and right away I just started kicking butt, so.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, when the time that it's very interesting because when someone gets 100% disability and they're on Social Security and stuff, typically that's how they want to live their life and do that thing. What point where you were like, you know what? I want to do something different. I want to get back to work, and I know that this is a sacrifice, but I want to do it. What made you want to move forward with that?
Well, really, in the interview, it was easy. Mike said you're going to be working with veterans all the time, and I'm like, I'm advocating for veterans every day, all day long. Answer my phone 9, 10 o'clock at night. I'm already doing it. Like, this is just the next step into, obviously homeless to home ownership for other guys, not just myself, which is what gave me the passion and the strength to be like, dude, I've got to set whatever I'm dealing with aside, and I got to drive through because my brothers need me, my brothers and sisters both, so and that's what drives me still. That's what drives me to be able to push through, not wanting to get out of bed in the morning, dealing with sleep apnea all night, nightmares at night, dealing with that kind of stuff. I wake up in the morning with, okay, the next thought is, whether it's a disability resource phone call or trying to help someone with their credit like Ron did me, it's like, that's what drives me. And it's like constant thought. As long as I'm thinking those thoughts, I think a lot less about the other thoughts.
Yeah, so, the combat trauma you've been through and the 5-year kind of stuff you talked about, the challenges and everything, and getting to where you're at now took a lot of physical, mental, and emotional resiliency. What advice would you have for veterans out there that may be homeless, may be dealing with these same kind of traumas and everything? What advice would you give them to? Obviously, great people like Ron and Mike Villano and everything have helped, but what advice would you give those veterans out there right now?
You got the opportunity for a story of triumph. You have to overcome what you're dealing with. Once you overcome that, now you have an asset that you can use to help other people, other veterans, people. It depends. I had to find my passion. My passion was in veteran advocacy. And sometimes it stumbles onto the youth, and all of us want it. If you have a bunch of veterans in a room raise their hand about what they want to do, they all want to make a difference. They all want to strive to support their country, their countrymen, and so that's it. You got to find it and figure out what works for you.
Absolutely,
man. I love you, Tony. You know that, brother. Man, we've been through some dirt together, and we've helped a lot of veterans, and I can confidently say that we've saved lives together, man. And I love you for that. So, that aside, what message would you give to any veterans, transitioning service members, or military spouses that are looking at VLG as a potential employer and the next step in their career?
Oh man, that's probably the greatest company to work for in the world. Hey, I mean, for veterans, it's like walking back into the showers. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We're back in snapping towels at each other. No,
Yeah.
I mean, and then even for military spouses and everything, you know, we're just so appreciated. It's so like it's just our world. You know, it's our whole aura about the way we work as a company. It's amazing. I mean, what we got? We got boat day coming up. You know, I mean, the things we do is perfect for the life we've lived and our walks. You know, I mean, we got a ping pong table down at their office down there, and everybody knows in the military how many of y'all played in ping pong tournaments. Probably about 50% of us.
Yeah.
You know, and so it's just that, and it's just the opportunity for the growth we have coming from. I was a construction worker. You know, that's what I did most of my life was construction, and now I've got a career in mortgage. You know, and so it's the opportunity to grow in different ways is amazing. You know, so.
Well, God bless you, brother. You are a story of success. You've overcome, and now you're thriving, and that's what we want to do with every veteran. So thanks for being here, man.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, man. Appreciate you, Tony.
Don't die.
Hey folks, thanks for joining us for this special edition of the Ron and John Show, where we are recognized and honored Hire a Veteran Day.
And as a veteran and a 5-year employee here at Veterans Landing Group, I can tell you firsthand how phenomenal this organization is, the true care, the commitment, training, and set you up for success in this family. So if you're interested in looking for that next step in your career, or basically your enjoyment, like you'll see one of our guys, Steve, say, this is a place to look at. And make sure that you check us out weekly on the Ron and John Show.
Boom.
Boom.